You know, I've looked at moving because I'd like to keep more of my money too. And
where should Maher move? You know how many people moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know. No,
under Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move. There's no doubt about that. People move in America, and you're right.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money that they earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%. Right. So it absolutely is happening.
It started with a simple question. Why are people leaving blue states? Bill Maher admitted even he's thought about moving to keep more of his money. The response? Look at California. Look at New York. High taxes, rising costs, and frustrated residents. The argument isn't about weather or better views. It's about wallets. People aren't relocating for sunshine, they're relocating for survival.
I read that the current mayor of Chicago has an approval rating of 6.6%.
Round it up, 7.
Okay. But, I mean, you were just the ambassador to Japan. If that was your approval rating in Japan, they would do Hira on live TV.
They would do it at 27.
I mean, what's going on in Chicago as the person?
Look, I mean, we were talking about this a little earlier. I mean, you have also the mayor of New York not doing well. Obviously, other things also here in Los Angeles not doing well, the mayor here. Look, and then you got mayors, like the mayor of San Francisco and other cities that are doing well. So I would say, look, there is a general rule. I had this when I was mayor. Safe streets, strong schools, stable finances. Focus on those 3 things and your city's going to be fine.
Clip 2. Florida became the political lab experiment. When Ron DeSantis took office, Democrats outnumbered Republicans in registration. Fast forward 8 years and the script flipped. Republicans now lead by over 1 million. Supporters argue that shift isn't random. It's migration plus re-registration. People moving from high-tax states and changing political alignment as they settle.
We've gone through 5 years where people became way too permissive of culture. They were all, which is why everything's locked up at Walgreens and CVS, and that is a disaster.
Yeah.
And I'll say this about our schools. I don't want to hear another word about the locker room. I don't want to hear another word about the bathroom. You better start focusing on the classroom. I agree. We had the worst reading scores for 8th graders in 30 years. And nobody, not a governor, not a mayor, not a president, not a secretary of education is talking about it. We're all wrapped up. Look, in 7th grade, if I known that I could have said the word they and got in the girls' bathroom, I would have done it. We literally are a superpower. We're facing off against China with 1.4 billion people, and 2/3 of our children can't read 8th grade level. So no more about the lot. Wait a second, I'm on a roll for a second.
Yeah.
Then came Chicago. A reported approval rating hovering around 6% for its mayor sent shockwaves. Former Mayor Rahm Emanuel broke it down simply. Safe streets, strong schools, stable finances. Miss those 3 pillars and voters revolt. Residents aren't debating ideology, they're worried about crime, schools, and whether their city still works.
To be fair, this is actually...
I was being fair.
No, this is a huge Democratic Party problem. If you look at Democratic cities, they are terribly run. They have incredibly high taxes. It is impossible to build, so the cost of housing... Let me finish, I'll give you a chance. Cost of housing is crazy in places like New York and Chicago. If you look at Democratic states, you go look at New York versus Florida, okay? Roughly the same population. The budget of New York State is twice that of Florida. What do they have? Streets paved with gold? I live in New York. I pay the highest taxes in New York. You get nothing for it. And I think that is the image people have of the Democratic Party.
Rahm's frustration sharpened around education. He argued the national debate drifted toward cultural flashpoints while reading scores collapsed. 8th grade literacy at multi-decade lows. Parents asking why their kids can't read fluently. Leaders arguing over symbolic battles. His message was blunt. Focus on classrooms, not culture wars. Results matter more than rhetoric.
Lots of taxes, lots of regulation, but nothing gets done.
Hey,
and I think
I live in L.A.
Right. And I think, you know, if the Democrats have to own this and realize the answer to everything is not more taxes, more regulation. People are fed up of that, and they feel that it isn't working.
The Democrats, look, as somebody who produced the best graduation growth in the country, and we changed our high school.
You were a good mayor. I agree.
No, that's not the point. The point was we changed, but I'll take that. The point isn't the rules. The point is the results. And the party has gotten way too focused on what the rules are. And I do agree with you on this. We have made it impossible to function as a city or as a state.
Critics say major Democratic cities share a brand problem: high taxes, high regulation, and high frustration. New York's state budget roughly doubles Florida's. Yet many residents say they feel squeezed with little visible payoff. Expensive housing, endless permits, slow services. When perception becomes reality, political damage follows.
An example of this here obviously in LA, it took a fire and a natural disaster to make you realize, you know what, that rule's not that important. In Pennsylvania, a bridge collapse, all of a sudden we go, well, that environmental rule is just not important. We got to build a bridge. It's much more important. And I think the Democratic Party should take a look at it and say, we're going to be honest, like we did in 1994 with reinventing government. Everything is on the table. Nothing is safe. And we can just look at it and say, that's essential. Those two things get out of here. And that doesn't happen. And that's a fair.
The criticism isn't just about taxes. It's about paralysis. Projects stall for years. Permits drag endlessly. In places like Los Angeles, residents see fires, bridge collapses, or crises suddenly override regulations that once seemed untouchable. The argument from reformers: if red tape disappears during emergencies, maybe it was too heavy all along.
I think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida. Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue states for Florida.
Wall Street South isn't just a nickname anymore. Palm Beach has become a magnet for financiers and hedge fund executives. Critics say rising taxes in New York and other blue states accelerated the shift. Supporters argue people always threaten to move but rarely follow through. The data, though, shows significant population loss in recent years.
This is the luckiest guy in the world that Mamdani got elected, because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mamdani announced. Okay?
Because
people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value has gone up.
Yeah, because they're moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of the city, and they can still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants. But what people don't understand is he can't raise the taxes unless the state okays it.
The mayoral race featuring Zoran Mamdani intensified the anxiety. Proposals like higher taxes on top earners triggered warnings of capital flight. Some residents argue suburban property values spiked as families considered leaving the city. Whether exaggerated or not, perception alone can move markets and voters.
They don't understand that. They don't know what seizing the means of production is, but Ken Griffin does. He's the big Wall Street titan. He knows what it is, and that's why he's down in Palm Beach.
We'll see if they move. I mean, you saw Bill.
They're going to move.
Well, look,
they're already moving.
Hold on, Bill Ackman
No,
threatened.
they're not.
Hold on.
People say they're going to move all the time after elections.
Listen,
they don't do it.
Bill Ackman said he was going to move.
You know how many people moved out of New York City in the last 3 years? 600,000. They're moving.
Yeah, they're moving.
High-profile moves added fuel to the story. Figures like Joe Rogan publicly cited taxes and regulation when relocating. Corporations quietly followed similar paths. Critics frame this as governance failure. Defenders argue migration trends are complex and cyclical. But politically, symbolism matters. and departures send signals.
You know how many people moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know. No,
Under Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move.
A
There's no
million.
doubt about that. People move in America, and you're right.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money
yes,
that
that's
they
true.
earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%.
Right.
So it absolutely is happening.
From Chicago to California to New York, a narrative is forming. Voters want competence over ideology, safe streets, affordable housing, efficient government. When leadership appears detached from everyday concerns, frustration turns into relocation, and relocation turns into political realignment. Whether exaggerated or undeniable, one truth stands out. When cities struggle, voters respond. And in America, that response often means moving.